everyone. Welcome to the video, and here, as you know, we are discussing RBI Grade B Officers Examination Phase 2 question paper, and in the last videos I have already discussed up till question 40. So here we will be discussing from question 41. So in question 41 we have, which of the following is not used in assessing GDP through the income method? Number 1, wage. Number 3, rent. Number 3, government consumption and gross investment. Number 4, interest. And number 5 is profit. Now discussing this answer, many of you all must already be knowing what will be the answer to this. This is option number 3, that is government consumption and gross investment. This is the correct answer to this, but let's discuss why this I'm considering as the correct option. Now GDP can be computed in two ways. One way is to add up the total amount spent on all the final goods and services during a given period of time. This is an expenditure approach. As we know, this is used in calculating GDP. The other way is to add up the income, that is wages, rent, interest, and profits received by all factors for production in producing final goods and services. So this is the income approach to calculating the GDP. So that is why I'm choosing number 3 as the correct option. So let me mark this option 3 as the correct. Okay. Moving on to question number 42. Which of the following components is used in calculation of GDP through the expenditure approach? Firstly, household spending on consumer goods. Number 2, spending by firms and households on new capitals. Number 3, net export. Number 3, government gross investment. And number 5 is all of the above. Now, if you choose this, I will say all of the above is the correct answer to this. Now, there are also 4 main categories of expenditure that I'm going to discuss with you. Firstly, it is C, that is personal consumption expenditures, that consists of household spendings on consumer goods, etc. That is considered C, consumption. Next, coming to I, investment, that is gross private domestic investment, comprising of spendings by firms and households on new capital, that is plant, equipment, inventory, and new residential structures. Next is G, G for government consumption. That is government consumption as gross investment. Next is EXIN, that is EXIM, as we say, the short form of net exports, that is net spending by the rest of the world, or export minus import. Export minus import, the short form we abbreviate that as EXIM. So that is the 4 factors. The expenditure approach calculates GDP by adding together all of these 4 components of spending. That is through the equation of GDP is equals to C plus I plus G plus within brackets EX minus IN, or you can even say that as net exports, or net exports or the net product. So accordingly, I have all of the above as my correct option, that is option number 5. I will mark this as option number 5. So I will mark this. Next, moving on to question number 43. Gross national income, which is the GNI, is the sum of value added by, number 1, all producers who are residents in a nation. Number 2, product taxes minus subsidies not included in output. Number 3, income received from abroad. Number 4 is both 1 and 2. And number 5 is all of the above. Now, I will say the correct answer to this is all of the above. That is number 5. Gross national income, or the GNI, is the sum of the nation's gross domestic product plus, that is GDP plus net income received from overseas. Now, so we can define that as the sum of value added by all the producers who are residents in a nation, plus any product taxes, which is minus subsidies, not included in output, plus income received from abroad, such as employee compensation and property income. So then GNI means, or it measures income received by the country both domestically and also from overseas. So accordingly, the correct answer for question number 43 is all of the above. That is option number 5. Let me mark this as option number 5 is the correct answer. Next, moving on to question number 44. Which of the following statements is or are correct regarding net national income? That is the NNI. It is defined as the national product, NNP plus indirect tax. It encompasses the income of household, business, and the government. When net national income is adjusted for natural source depletion, it is called green net national income. Both 1 and 2 and all of the above. I will say number 2 is the correct answer. It encompasses the income of household, business, and the government. Now, why am I saying this as a correct answer? Let's have a proper discussion. Net national income can be defined as the net national product, which is the NNP, minus indirect taxes. Net national income actually encompasses the or engulfs the income of household, business, and the government. When net national income is adjusted for natural resource depletion, it is called adjusted net national income. So I hope this answer is quite clear enough. So that is why answer number or option number 2 is the correct answer to my question number 44. Next, moving on to question number 45. With reference to data released by the recent World Bank data, which of the following statement is or are correct regarding India's gross national income GNI per person? Number 1, India is currently in upper middle income level. Number 2, gross national income measures the total value added by all citizens of a country, whether in India or abroad. Number 3, India will become high income country in 2026. Both option we have both 1 and 3, and option 5 is all of the above. Now answer 45, I will choose this as answer number 2. Answer number 2 is the correct one. Why I am saying this? Gross national income measures the total value added of all citizens of a country, whether in India or abroad. Right? According to the World Bank data, despite its increase in the per capita GNI, that is the gross national income, India has remained in the lower middle income category. That is, they have categorized the currency as $1,046 to $4,125. On the basis of India's average annual growth rate in per capita GNI over the last few decades of 8.9%, it will become an upper middle income country with an income of $4,126 to $12,735 in 2026. So that is why the correct answer that question number 45 or the correct option to question number 45 is option number 2, gross national income. So marking this as the correct option. Next, answer number 46. Consider the following statements regarding poverty in India. The generally accepted definition of poverty emphasizes a reasonable level of living rather than minimum level of living. PD Oja estimates the number of persons below the poverty line on the basis of an average calorie intake of 2250 per capita per day. And number C, we have V.M. Dandekar and Nilkantha Rath estimated the value of the diet with 2250 calories as the desired minimum level of nutrition. So both B and C are correct. That is, P.D. Oja estimated the number of persons below the poverty line on the basis of an average calorie intake of 2250 per capita per day. And also V.M. Dandekar and Neelkantha Rath estimated the value of the diet with 2250 calories as the desired minimum level of nutrition. So all B and C is correct. I will say in India, the generally accepted definition of poverty emphasizes that the minimum level of living rather than a reasonable level of living. This attitude is borne out with a realization that it would not be possible to provide even a minimum quantum of basic needs for some decades. And therefore, to talk about a reasonable level of living or good life may appear to be wishful thinking at this moment or at the present stage. So accordingly, I will say for 46 number of questions, option number 3 is the correct one, that is both B and C. Next, moving on to question number 47. Which of the following statements is or are not correct regarding GNP or gross national product deflator? We have to mark which one is the first one. It provides an alternative to the wholesale price index, which is the WPI. It is used to convert nominal GDP to real GDP or GDP at constant prices. It includes prices for all goods and services produced domestically. So we have 5 options here for question number 47. And according to me, question number 47, A is only the one that we can choose. That is not correct. It provides an alternative to the wholesale price index. That is option number A. Let me mark this. Yes, only A is the option. That is the GNP deflator provides an alternative to the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. The CPI is based upon a basket of goods and services, while the GNP deflator incorporates all of the final goods that is produced by an economy. So that's the difference. This allows the GNP to more accurately capture the effects of inflation since it's not limited to a small subset of goods. So I hope the answer to this is clear. Now we can move on to the 48th question. Which of the following statements regarding the differences between GDP deflator and CPI, as I just told you, Consumer Price Index, is not correct? GDP deflator is normally lower and grows more slowly than CPI. GDP deflator reflects the prices of a representative basket of all goods and services bought by the consumers. GDP deflator receives rather less attention than the CPI, both 1 and 3, and none of these. The correct option to this is option number 2. That is, GDP deflator reflects the prices of a representative basket of all goods and services bought by the consumers. This GDP deflator reflects the prices of all goods and services produced domestically, whereas the CPI reflects the prices of a representative basket of all goods and services bought by consumers. GDP deflator compares the price of currently produced goods and services to the price of the same goods and services in the base year, whereas the CPI compares the price of a fixed basket of goods and services to the price of the basket in the base year. So this is basically the difference. So accordingly, I have option number 2 as the correct option. I will mark this as the correct option. Right. Moving on to question number 49. Which of the following is or are the highlights of the report of expert group headed by Dr. Rangarajan on the poverty estimates in India? It endorsed the Suresh Tendulkar Committee methodology on estimation poverty. As per Rangarajan panel estimates, a person spending less than rupees 1,407 a month, that is rupees 47 per day, would be considered poor in cities. As per the report, in absolute term, the number of poor in India stood at 36.3 crore in 2011 to 12. So the expert group headed by Dr. Rangarajan, uh, dismissed by Suresh Tendulkar Committee methodology on estimating, they have found out that this is one of the basic criteria. And if we move on to much details, the poverty was estimated that the number of poor in India was much higher in 2011 and 12. At there was a particular percentage given that was estimated as 29.5% of the population. As per this Rangarajan report, a Rangarajan panel estimates 3 out of 10 in India would be poor. Estimates based on Tendulkar Committee methodology had pegged the poverty ratio to be at 21.9% in 2011 to 2012. So the answer to all of these questions has been discussed, and I guess all the answers have been clearly understood. So with this, I will be concluding my video here. So all the best for your examinations. I hope there haven't been any doubts, or if there are any, you can get it clarified. And there are questions and answers discussed thoroughly in details. I don't expect there will be any doubt. So all the best to your answer, and thank you for patiently hearing me out for so long for the discussion. The rest of the questions, the previous questions has been discussed in earlier videos, so you can refer to that for details and thoroughness. So all the best, concluding my video. Thank you everyone.